office.
Afternoon, Chair. Afternoon, PS. In your team, I'm Emmanuel Tembo. I'm the Acting Deputy Auditor General in charge of audits, and I'm accompanied by my colleague.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. My name is Chuvunda Kainda, Senior Auditor, Office of the Auditor General.
Good afternoon. My name is Luvinda Sinyani from the Planning and Research Department in the Office of the Auditor General.
Thank you. Also have control of audit.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. Our witness. My name is Amasozi Longwe, representing the Office of the Controller of Internal Audits.
All right. Thank you so much, honorable members. You are now free to introduce yourselves, starting with Honorable Anakoka.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon, PS. The two PSs on your teams. My name is Lubita Anakoka, Member of Parliament for Luena constituency. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair. Good afternoon, witness. Engineer Christopher Kamembe, MP for Kanfinsa.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, witness. Mishek Mutitwanyambose, representing the people of Chasefo constituency. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, PS. I'm Emmanuel Yema Jr., Member of Parliament for Nalolo constituency in Western Province, and a member of this select committee.
Chair, thank you very much, and witness, good afternoon. My name is Freddy Atila, Member of Parliament for Momba constituency, and also the chair, the member of this committee.
Thank you so much, Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. Yes, and your team. My name is Miriam Chonya, Member of Parliament for Kafue constituency. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honorable members. My name is Anyerinda Brenda, Member of Parliament for Lundazi constituency in Eastern Province, near Malawi. And also the Vice Chairperson for this committee, sitting in for my chair, who is out for duty. Ministry of Agriculture, we've seen you've submitted a very short document. We can give you 15 minutes. You make your submissions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'll go straight to the submission. We are responding to responses to Parliamentary Select Committee considering consideration of the Special Audit Report of the Auditor General on external public debt of the Republic of Zambia for the period 1st January 2006 to 31st December 2022. Paragraph 7.6.6. Failure to provide information on the contraction and utilization of loan facility. On 31st December 2019, the government and Eastern and Southern Africa Trade and Development Bank, TDB, signed a multi-tranche loan facility in amounts totaling to 590 million United States dollars. The loan was meant to liquidate arrears that had accrued under the Ministry of Energy on importation of petroleum products. In addition, on 31st December 2019, an additional loan of 95,100,000 United States dollars was provided by TDB Bank for liquidation of arrears that had accrued under the Farmer Input Support Program FISIP under the Ministry of Agriculture. However, documents supporting the date accrued, which necessitated the contraction of the loans, were not provided for audit as at 31st January 2024. Management's response is as follows. The query is noted. The Ministry would like to state that as at 31st December 2019, the outstanding arrears relating to the Farmer Input Support Program FISIP was 920,726,676,000.69. This was an accumulation of debt from 2016/2017 farming season to the 2018/2019 farming season. The outstanding debt according to the farming season is as follows, or rather was as follows. Farming season 2016/2027, there was an amount of 28,090,000,59. 2017/2018, there was 89 billion 89,797,736,94. 2018/2019 farming season, there was 802,838,649.16, giving us a total of 920 million, 726,676.69. The supporting documents to this submission are available for verification. Thank you, Honorable Chair. The supporting documents are as follows. There is a letter that was written by the then Acting Permanent Secretary, Mr. Moses Mwale, to Secretary to Treasury, Mr. Fredson Yamba, giving a position of the date, which reads as follows. Submission of FISIP date position as at 3rd January 2020, amounting to 1,245,515,562.56. I wish to submit to your office the Farmer Input Support Program FISIP date, as stated with the dates that we can all see there. Farming seasons as indicated on the consolidated FISIP date report attached as at 3rd July 2020, which amounts to the total of 1,245,515,562.56. The arrears are for fertilizer suppliers, seed suppliers, transporters, agro dealers for e-voucher, and other service providers for your attention and consideration for funding. When we move to the next page, Honorable Chair,
I'm sure members of Parliament have had an interaction with these documents. It may not be necessary for you to go through all these tables. Yes, ma'am. We have questions from honorable members. I'll start with Honorable Kangombe, then Honorable Amnyima, then Honorable Kafue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam PS, under 7.666, which you've titled failure to provide information on the loan facility, I'm assuming this was an extract from the audit query. This is the audit query. And management response, which I believe is the ministry's response, is that the query is noted. And you go on to simply state how much is owed, which is 920.726 million. Now, my question: the government of the Republic of Zambia borrowed money from the Trade and Development Bank. The total they borrowed is stated here, 590 Ministry of Energy, and your ministry $95 million. I'm assuming the Ministry of Agriculture was not part of the negotiations for the loan. You are just on the receiving end to get the $95 million. So my question is, did the Ministry of Agriculture get this $95 million? And was there any documents to confirm that the money has been transferred and these are the terms for this $95 million? I thank you.
Honorable Amnyima.
Thank you, Chair. This documentation you are bringing before this committee now, where was it during audit?
Honorable Kafue.
Maybe mine would have been better classified as a preliminary issue to just help me understand in paragraph 1 of their submission at 7.66 why we are referring to loan arrears accrued under the Ministry of Energy on importation of petroleum products. How are we relating this and our ministry?
For me, they are appearing under one paragraph, but they are separated. Can we concentrate on Ministry of Agriculture for this particular one? Yes. It's just an extract. They didn't do a good job when doing their submission. They would have just picked their part. I think Ministry of Agriculture.
Chair, with that clarification, I can move on to ask another question. On page 2, where presented as a table of the arrears that were outstanding over some farming seasons. Do they have an explanation why for the year 2018-2019 this arrear swelled up so much from the 2 previous seasons? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Though the last one, the last question may not be part of the query, you may give us a bonus answer if you have time. Maybe you can concentrate on the questions which
It is an honor to present this board to the court. I've seen it firsthand. He has our right.
Was not contracted direct with the Ministry of Agriculture, but this loan was contracted by Ministry of Finance, Treasury. So the best answer we obtained from Ministry of Finance, because they were contracting on behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture. So the audit we are looking at, the queries that are sitting here, were not directed to Ministry of Agriculture. They were directed to Ministry of Finance. Hence, there was no response. Because in the earlier, the picture that is being gotten here is that we did not give feedback. They are made to understand this was directed to Ministry of Finance. So, of course, it's talking about agriculture, meaning we need to input their document. We needed to have given the information to Finance when they were responding. So that's the position we have at the ministry. Okay. Because even the actual documents of how the loan was being contracted, Ministry of Agriculture does not have any document to that effect.
Thank you so much, PS. I would want to find out from you, since this wasn't directed to your ministry, were you queried at any point by the Auditor General's office to provide information like you are providing right now?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Let me invite my Director of Finance to give a brief on that particular one. Thank you.
Director of Finance.
Thank you, Chair. Not to my knowledge. I'm aware that Auditor General was contracted to actually audit the debt that was contracted by the Ministry of Finance from 2016 to about 2022. But we were not directly engaged by Auditor General, unless maybe my colleague would state to that effect.
Auditor General, you are here. And they are here, they are saying you did not contact them for any information regarding this particular audit.
Chair, perhaps I'll speak and then I'll also let my other officer give more details. Chair, the the response by the PS is true to an extent of saying the contraction is done by means of finance. I think that cannot be. But however, what is expected is the Ministry of Finance, as they were responding, there should have been coordination to ensure that actually appropriate responses were given by the beneficiaries, so to say. So maybe we needed to get more further clarification from the PS when they are implementing, or when as you are saying, did you actually, for instance, did the Minister of Finance come to you as PS and say?
Maybe if you could reserve that question for the chair and the other members. The question that I directed to you was to find out whether you had written to the Ministry of Agriculture and they wrote back to you that they couldn't give you that information because they were getting, they didn't get the direct input, in short.
Okay.
It was the Ministry of Finance.
Chair, the PS, when we did this audit, was Ministry of Finance. And as such, you're supposed to coordinate with the beneficiaries. But however, I would allow also my colleague to just maybe give one or two maybe details that can be helpful behind.
Okay. Before we get to him, can I get Honorable Kangombe and Honorable Wamnyema?
Madam Chair, before I asked my question, I actually made a general statement. My general statement is what everyone is saying here, but at this stage we've already established that the role of agriculture was to receive money which was borrowed by Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Agriculture doesn't borrow money. I don't think that is possible. So my question was, did you receive the $95 million? Because that is where now the other audits now will be, did they use the $95 million? What Ministry of Finance will respond to is whether they followed the other procedures. That's another entity. But for agriculture, me, I want to know. In this report, we are told an additional loan of $95 million was provided to liquidate arrears for PSIC. That was my question, Madam Chair. So that's what I wanted to know. The rest of the details we agree.
Before you get the question from Wamnyema, maybe you can clear that one, PS.
Thank you, Chair. Indeed, we needed to provide an answer to Honorable's question as regards whether the $95 million was received in the Ministry of Agriculture. Honorable members, I want to be very precise. When these loans are contracted, the money is gotten. There's usually ways and means whereby, or let me say how this money is moved to the ministry. So I would like to request the then Chief Accountant who's present here to give us a clear position on how the money was arriving in the ministry, whether it all came at the same time or it was coming in tranches or bunches. So
maybe Honorable Madam PS, what we just want to establish is whether the Ministry of Agriculture received this particular amount, and you have said you do not have the information. Whether it came in bits and pieces, I think that does not matter. What we just want to establish as a committee is whether this $95 million was received by the Ministry of Agriculture.
Thank you, Chair. In short, the money was received.
In full?
Yes, it was received, because that is a breakdown where I was about to take you when you stopped me. Thank you.
Honorable members?
But I would like to make a humble request, Chair. Why I say I would like to make a humble request is because we need to ensure that the whole 95 was received, because we have a breakdown of the monies that we received. The question that should come is whether it totals up to $95 million.
That's the question that
So-
I asked.
So receiving the money, yes, because payments were made. Some payments were made.
The
which-
question I have is, did Ministry of Agriculture receive 95 million
In total-
100,000 US dollars?
Okay, thank you, Chair. Let me invite Likambi whether this amounts to 95 in dollar, because I have it in kwacha here. Thank you, Papa.
Maybe if we can ask the accountant, and do you have documentation to prove that that money came to your ministry?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The documentation can be clearly be obtained from finance because they push this money.
As you receive,
Yes.
is there nowhere where it is noted to say the ministry has received this particular amount?
Usually there are letters that are generated from Ministry of
Do we
Finance.
have a
Treasury.
letter to that effect that
should be.
you have received that amount?
Thank you. Let's get a clarification, Honorable, if you allow. Thank you.
Maybe if when we get that breakdown, we will know whether when the ministry receives money, they would even know that this is from a loan, because the loan was being received by the Ministry of Finance. So I think the proposal to run us through the process would help us understand how loans move from Ministry of Finance to the beneficiary ministries, whether they arrive as loans or they arrive as here is some funding to clear your arrears. Where the Ministry of Finance is sourcing the money.
PS Finance.
To hear that. Yes.
Well, that maybe she had requested that we ask, is it the accountant general or some from the ministry? Can you please come through? The chief accountant. Yes, come. You know, if we don't listen from the receiving end, let's hear him. The accountant, please. Oh, okay.
Thank you, Chair, and through the PS, I think I'll speak to the document that we have submitted, which indeed we submitted to Ministry of Finance to request for normal funding, because in our budget we had a line of dismantling of arrears. So when we wrote the letter to request, we did attach how much was outstanding for FISIP for the specific farming seasons that we have given in this document. So when the money came for dismantling of arrears, it came as normal funding and it sat on our dismantling of arrears budget line, not knowing at which rate they converted the money. So I may not be able to confirm whether the $95 million is what we received in Kwacha. I submit for now.
Maybe, Chief Accountant, I would want to take you to a submission. This attachment on Ministry of Agriculture Consolidated Report, FISIP outstanding bills. I see where you are saying fertilizer suppliers, you are quoting in US dollar. Is that correct? The Ministry of Agriculture Consolidated Report, FISIP outstanding. Yes.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, the contract was in dollar, and so the value was also in dollar.
Now, in your submission, you are saying that you didn't know at what rate. But here you are indicating to say that whatever you are owing suppliers and everything, it was in US dollar, right? On this submission here. In your consolidated report, FISIP outstanding bills, you don't quote Kwacha, you initially quote US dollar.
Yes, some of the contracts, Chair, are signed in dollar.
So would you be in a position to state how much was owing in dollar and how much was owing in Kwacha in this case? Because you have given us the US dollar here and you have given us the Kwacha. Or what rate we are using to convert this?
Chair, yes, I can see on our table that we have some companies which had contracts in dollar and we did convert into kwacha. But what we didn't indicate here, I think, is just the rate of conversion, of which we can find by just doing the division.
In this case, the submission of saying whether the money was contracted in dollar and everything does not hold. What I wanted, yes.
There are two different things.
Yes.
There are two different things.
The funding is usually in.
Funding is different.
So the funding comes in kwacha, and then the debt is in dollar, and then the total accumulation is in kwacha, right?
Chair, through you, so that we don't run ourselves. The funding that was coming in kwacha is the one that is denominated in dollars as a loan at the Minister of Finance. But when it arrives at the Minister of Agriculture, it's in kwacha. But the Minister of Agriculture has got these contracts with various suppliers, which are themselves in the dollars and other currencies as applicable for their liability. So the two are different. So the question you asked, Chair, was confirmation on the $95 million. And they have said they were receiving no more funding. So in kwacha. So as things stand right now, they are not in a position to say they received the money from the $95 million in full, because they were receiving it as normal funding, not here the $95 million. Yeah, so that one I think we can.
Thank you so much for that intervention. I think the major person to help us here is the Ministry of Finance, and they are here. Make your submission, Madam.
Thank you, Chair. I think I tried to intervene earlier. Understood the agriculture would not know in terms of the monies, in terms of the source of funds. I just wanted to make a clarification on the $95 million, which was the loan which the government through the Ministry of Finance contracted. This loan which was contracted from TDB, and it had a number of components. We have the financing agreements which are sitting with the ministry, and they are available also in the DIMFA system, which is checked. So the portion which related to the fertilizer contracts was about $53 million, while the other balance related to the fuel arrears, because there was some shortfall on the fuel arrears. So in terms of disbursements, it was more or less 36.3 plus 17.8. That's what related to 17.8 and 36.3. About 53, yes. That's okay. Thank you. Let me start again. I wanted to make a clarification earlier. The $95 million, which 95.1, which was contracted through the Ministry of Finance and National Planning on behalf of government, did not just cover fertilizer. It was not exclusively for fertilizer. What related to fertilizer was 17.8 and 36.3, which comes to about 53.1.
But do we have that breakdown?
We have the financing agreement available, and we did attach it as an annex.
Did you give it to the Select Committee, or did you provide it to the Auditor General?
It was available. It's available in the DIMFAS, which is also checked. It was attached in our submission as an annex.
Thank you.
When we made our submission.
Chair, this information PS Finance is giving us, according to this submission from auditor, you did not give them during audit. Where was it? Because it's like this audit process, Chair, as if it happens abracadabra. You had time for them to, because what is being told to be owed is not what is owed. There's a different submission. You know, some of these issues, Chair, coming before this committee, you should explain them. We don't need you to come and clarify. So where was this financing agreement? PS, where was it?
PS, provide this information for the committee. Did you provide the information we are asking you about to the Auditor General?
Chair, the documents were available for the auditors.
Auditor General?
Because they also sit in the DIMFAS, which is checked.
Auditor General?
Chair, I think if you look at the query, I think this query is a simple query. We are not even doubting to say whether they had used their monies, and this is now additional. I'm sure if they provided the agreement, would have gone further too. But I think at the point when we wanted to check the utilization, the details, so when we queried, because the first, I think, document which we need to look is to look at the contract terms and of this facility. Okay, so that was not availed at the time we were auditing, and I think we have a process, the query stage, management letter stage. Indeed, they could have maybe they have this agreement, which I think as the Honorable is laboring to actually ask. Perhaps we are seeing now this agreement here, but I will let my colleagues just to confirm and behind there.
Okay, maybe we allow the colleague to confirm.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The financing agreement, Chair, during the or at the time of audit were not availed for audit. Thank you.
Okay. Could there have been a reason why you failed to provide that information to the Auditor General when they wanted the information? Minister of Finance?
Thank you, Chair, and through the PS. Regarding the financing agreements, I think we've been sharing with the auditors not once. We have been requested for agreements for the loans, and we've been sharing the whole lot for all the loans in various audit requests. That's my submission, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Yambose, before.
Chair, thanks for giving me this opportunity. Chair, I don't think that we are doing our best, but when I read the query, Chair, the query, I'll read it. Failure to provide information on the contraction and utilization of the loan facility. Period. No details, no $95 million, nothing. But the failure to provide information is the query. And we are now coming to the point where auditors are saying we were never availed. So the point is rested, Chair. For me, we shouldn't be scratching our heads. They failed to provide.
The reason, maybe before you conclude, the reason why I'm giving chance to both, they should be able to explain. Minister of Finance is saying they did provide, and the Auditor General, they are saying they didn't receive. So we don't know who we should believe.
Chair, let me conclude. Chair, you gave me.
Yes, please.
It is an issue of audit management. I do not think that. I don't know. I don't want to accuse any, but they're putting us in an awkward position. Here, one is saying we gave, this one is saying we didn't give. So what are we doing as a committee? So this is a management and in-house issue. Government.
Thank you so much. I think we are done. Can I make a conclusion?
Before you do.
We still have, we have the Ministry of Energy who are appearing, and we do not have the luxury of time. PS. Thank you so much for the information you have provided to us. It will help us in writing a report for Madam Speaker. Cap 12, which we had conferred on you, is now lifted. Anything you say out of this is you're on your own. Please enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and thank you so much.
Thank you, honorable members of the committee. Thank you, honorable chair.
My eParliament mobile application. First, download the app on either Play Store or App Store and install. After installation, open the app. Step 1. Register your personal information, that's your names, gender, NRC and date of birth. Step 2. Add your contact information, your email, phone number and home address. Step 3. Select your constituency. Step 4. Create your 4-digit PIN. At this point, the system will send an SMS to your mobile number with a one-time passcode. Step 5. Confirm with one-time passcode that was sent to your mobile. Step 6. Sign in using your phone number and the 4-digit PIN. And Step 7. Create your submission and submit. My eParliament, bringing Parliament closer to you. My eParliament mobile application. First, download the app on either Play Store or App Store and install. After installation, open the app. Step 1. Register your personal information, that's your names, gender, NRC and date of birth. Step 2. Add your contact information, your email, phone number and home address. Step 3. Select your constituency. Step 4. Create your 4-digit PIN. At this point, the system will send an SMS to your mobile number with a one-time passcode. Step 5. Confirm with one-time passcode that was sent to your mobile. Step 6. Sign in using your phone number and the 4-digit PIN. And Step 7. Create your submission and submit. My e-Parliament, bringing Parliament closer to you.
My bag, I'm leaving town. I bought a one-way ticket, I ain't coming back. It's goodbye friends and goodbye folks. I'm heading for the city and that's my home. Mama, please don't cry. Say I can't stay, don't ask me why. I got no money, just hopes and dreams. I'm gonna find my destiny. I had about life in the city. That's where all dreams come true. I'm gonna work hard in the city. So we
that we enjoy as members of parliament. It gives you the privilege to speak to the committee in a much free way, knowing that whatever information that you give to the committee cannot be used against you in any court of law unless you deliberately choose to mislead the committee, of which I don't expect you to do so. You can maybe start by first introducing yourself and the members who have come. They can introduce themselves.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and the members of Parliament, this committee. My name is Peter Mumba. I'm the Permanent Secretary Technical at the Ministry of Energy. I have with me colleagues from the ministry, and I would like to ask each one of them to introduce themselves, beginning with you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Afternoon, Honorable Members. My name is Mwapet Chipala. I'm the Director of Planning and Information at Ministry of Energy.
Thank you. The other members who have come? Is it okay?
Good afternoon, members. Chikati Jomsonda, Director of Finance from the Ministry of Energy.
I think it's okay, you can sit there for the other members who are still joining us.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair and members of Parliament. My name is Minde Bathel, Principal Accountant, Minister of Energy.
All right, thank you. I think just from where you are, the room is small, we can be able to get you. Thank you so much. The next. Thank you, Mr. Siapachoma. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Small. Thank you, Mr. Mark Tribon. Okay. For the sake of the other members, PS, I'll still ask you to introduce yourself, although I know you know each other. Ministry of Finance.
Afternoon, Chair. Afternoon, honorable members. My name is Mwaka Mkwesa, Acting PS, Budget and Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance and National Planning.
Okay. The colleagues from the Ministry of Finance.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. My name is Rachel Charlton P. I'm Senior Economist within the Ministry of Finance and National Planning.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. Good afternoon, PS Energy. My name is Malak Luhanga, Assistant Director, Debt Data Management in the Investment and Debt Management Department at Ministry of Finance.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. Audrey Saidi Piri is my name. I'm in the domestic debt section of the Ministry of Finance and National Planning.
Thank you. Auditor General.
Good afternoon, the two PSs. I'm Emmanuel Tembo. I'm the Acting Deputy Auditor General in charge of audits. And I'll allow my person I came with to introduce himself. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. My name is Chivunda Kainda, Senior Auditor in the Office of the Auditor General. Thank you.
Thank you. Controller of Internal Audit.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. Afternoon, our witnesses. My name is Amasozi Longwe from Office of the Controller of Internal Audit. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretariat.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, our witnesses. My name is Alvin Himoliri from the Office of the
Honorable members.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, PS. My name is Muvita Anakoka, Member of Parliament for Luena constituency.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, witness, Engineer Christopher Kangombe, representing the people of Kamfinsa and the member of this committee.
Chair, good afternoon. PS and the team, good afternoon. Mishek Mutetwa Nyambose, representing the people of Chasefu constituency in Eastern Province and the member of the committee.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, PS and your team. I'm Imango Mnyima Jr., Member of Parliament for Nalolo constituency in Western Province and a member of this committee.
My name is Anyurenda Brenda, Member of Parliament for Lundazi constituency, Vice Chairperson for this select committee, but standing in for my chair, who is not in the country right now. Honorable PS, you have 15 minutes to just walk us through your submission. Starting now.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. My submission is with respect to the audit report on the Auditor General on external public debt of the Republic of Zambia for the period 1st January 2006 to 31st December 2022. I would like to start by saying that the government of the Republic of Zambia, through the Ministry of Finance, had 700 million US dollar financing facility with the Trade and Development Bank formerly known as PTA Bank, for both commingled and finished petroleum products. Commingled products, Honorable Chair, these are the products which in any refinery used to treat or refine in order to isolate different products from that commingled arrangement. The facility was serviced from sale proceeds through an escrow account that was domiciled at Finance Bank, which is known today as Access Bank, as well as budgetary allocations from through the Ministry of Finance whenever a shortfall arose. However, in 2015, delays in repayments started to occur due to late transmission of the shortfall payments, which then accumulated to around $590 million for the period 2008 to 2017. As at 31st March 2017, the record of claim by the Trade and Development Bank, TDB, showed an outstanding balance of $590 million. And the parties agreed to restructure the financing facility to a term loan. Let me repeat that. The parties agreed to restructure the financing facility to a term loan. In order to close the restructuring agreement, the two parties agreed that an independent forensic auditor be engaged to undertake the process of verifying the claimed arrears of $590 million of the financing facility. The Auditor General's report indicated that the ministry signed a loan of $590 million on 31st December 2019. You may wish to note, Honorable Chair, that the $590 million was not an actual loan. Was not an actual loan disbursement, but was the outstanding date on the financing facility that was restructured by the Ministry of Finance into a single term loan on 29th December 2017. Now, as part of the restructuring process, an accounting firm called HLB Zambia was engaged by the Zambian government to conduct a financial reconciliation of the letters of credit with the Trade Development Bank. Now, in order to appreciate the background, Honorable Chair, of the facility, let me highlight the following elements about the scope and utilization of the financing facility, which led to the outstanding balance of $590 million. Now, overview of the facility. Now, the facility had two types of financial instruments. that governed the importation of petroleum products, namely letters of credit for importation of crude feedstock and letters of credit covering the importation of refined petroleum products. The Trade and Development Bank would therefore a petroleum import facility to the government of the Republic of Zambia through the facility agreements or term sheets. Once all formalities and any conditions stipulated in the facility agreement were finalized, the government would then submit a drawing notification to establish a letter of credit in favor of the nominated supplier supported by a valid supplier invoice. Against the above confirmed notification, the Trade and Development Bank would establish a letter of credit equivalent to the invoice value of the petroleum feedstock. Each established letter of credit would run for a period of 90 days. Now, upon receiving the letter of credit, the supplier would ship the petroleum feedstock to the port of discharge in Dar es Salaam, and thereafter release the entire cargo into the custody of the transporter, in this case Tazama Pipeline, which is a joint venture between the government of Zambia and the government of Tanzania. With regard to refined products, the oil supplier transported the finished petroleum products to the various fuel depots that included Ndola, Lusaka, Mpika, etc. The supplier would then submit a documentation to their bank for payment. If all documents were completed and compliant, the Trade Development Bank would then send this documentation to the Ministry of Energy and concurrently pay the supplier. A financing facility would then be booked in the name of the government of the Republic of Zambia for a period of 120 days from the bill of lading date or from the specified deferred payment period. The financing facility was to enable the government to refine, store and sell the refined products to all marketing companies. An escrow account in the name of the Ministry of Energy was being maintained at the agent bank, in this case Finance Bank, into which all the sale proceeds from the OMCs were being deposited. The proceeds in the escrow account would then be converted to United States dollars and remitted by the agent bank to the Trade Development Bank. Other payments for stock monitoring, port charges, service fees, and incidentals were also made from the escrow account. I have some I have a table here which I may not actually go through.
The members have already interacted with the information.
Yes.
You may just proceed to
Yes,
conclusion.
please. Allow me to conclude by saying that 590 million US dollars facility was a date that was restructured into a term loan facility agreement signed on 29th December 2017 between the Trade and Development Bank, and the Ministry of Finance, and not a new loan disbursement. Thank you very much. Let me end there.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, you are now free to ask any questions. Start with Honorable Kangombe. Maybe you just switch off.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Permanent Secretary. Thank you for your submission. My understanding of this audit query is that maybe adequate information had not been provided to the auditors when they were conducting this audit. From your presentation, you've taken patiently, and I think I was following, to explain how this arrangement was arrived at, whether it's a loan or it's a letter of credit. I think you've been very clear on how this whole arrangement was done. My question to you, Permanent Secretary, given the conclusion of your submission and the background you've given, all these details that you have made available today at a time when the audit was being done, did the auditors engage the Ministry of Energy to establish all these particular technical details, or you are not privy to the request for information from the Auditor General, so that at that stage you then were able to explain how PTA comes in, which changed its name, how the escrow account comes in, whether there was actually $590 million that the Zambian government borrowed, because those are things that concern this committee. Did we borrow $590 million cash which came into an account, or it's simply what you've narrated today? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, you can take that one.
Thank you very much. With your indulgence, let me ask my principal accountant.
Principal accountant, please take it up.
You
may just sit and just next to the lady. You can use that mic.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and thank you, PS. Responding to the question from the Honorable Member, inquiring if at all the background information was availed to the auditors, we may not confirm that this information was gotten by the auditors at the time of audit, because initially when the query was raised, it was raised pertaining to a disbursement of $590 million as a loan. And the responses with the personnel who were present at that time to respond and give information to the auditors, it may not have been sufficient at that time to give what was given to the auditors. But when we found that the response was not dropped, we had to go deeper in perusing the documentations to understand as to why the auditors did not actually drop this query. That's how the background information was obtained, which is now available for audit confirmation. And why this background information was not availed at that time, it was actually the limitation in scope with personnel who were actually responding to the audit at the time of the query. I submit. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe just a follow-up to that one. You are saying the limited information, you are a ministry and you have, this is not the first time you are undergoing an audit query. What made the ministry not to give the right people who should have given the right information to the Auditor General? What caused you to give people who didn't understand to the audit query to give the Auditor General information which is now in public domain and it is causing a lot of talk? Why did you do that?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I think I have to affirm to this honorable committee that the members of staff who are present now representing the ministry are not the people who responded to the audit at that particular time. And when we came into office together with the entire team present here, we had to dig deeper into the inquiry of the auditors as to why the information was not availed in totality. I may not confirm, Honorable Chair, as to why the personnel at that time did not go deeper in providing the relevant information to the auditors, to the extent that this matter has come this far in the public domain. Otherwise, it's just a matter of staff turnover as to why those who were present would have actually explained as to why there are those shortcomings in addressing the Auditor General's concern. Thank you.
Thank you so much. PS, just to make a follow-up on what the accountant, I don't know if it's Accountant General, is submitting, civil service is a continuation. There is no time when there's a breakdown. We have had witnesses appear here who have come out of retirement to come and answer to queries. Why didn't you call upon the people who were in the office then to come and give information which would be verifiable? Could there be any reason why you can't do that?
Honorable Chair, I totally agree with you that there is no disconnection whatsoever or disengagement. This information should have been provided despite the fact that one or two people were not present. I can only say I regret that we provided half-baked information, but I'm sure today we've managed to give what is supposed to have been submitted at that particular time. I thank you.
Honorable Nakoka.
Thank you, Chair. PS, thank you for that clarification. But it still is important for us to ask the question, how did we get to accumulate these arrears amounting $590 million? What is it that we should have been doing, which we were not doing? Because that's the source of this loan. Whether it was cash or arrears converted into a loan, but eventually we accumulate it to still a liability. So that we can pick up lessons from there in terms of how not to find ourselves in a debt trap again. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I think
the bonus answer that we require from you. However, would want you to find out from the, please, maybe before, yes, would want to find out from the Ministry of Finance, because the PS has agreed that they didn't do due diligence. So we may not have a lot of things to ask from them. The question that we have for the Ministry of Finance is to find out, PS, are you in a position to submit the correct documentation so that the Auditor General can clear the Ministry and the PS from that query? I'm being guided. I'm saying it's a bonus answer. They are going to answer even what you asked.
Okay. I thought you were saying, yeah, because I think it fits into what you are saying exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To be a bonus answer.
Thank you. Definitely we have learned lessons in terms of the management of this sector. Firstly, you're all aware that there are two factors that determine the prices of petroleum products. So we have the exchange rate and the international price of fuel. So at that time, you would recall that we would then keep the price of fuel at a constant for even 4 or 5 months. Now that exposure was passed on to government or the Ministry of Finance, who are the risk takers of the letters of credit. Secondly, in terms of remittance to the facility itself, obviously as a government we were not remitting payments on time. Because of that, we had that forex exposure and obviously issues to do with budgetary constraints when it comes to treasury. Now what that meant was that it's a facility, so you had late payment interests that were added up. You had different penalties that were obviously attracted to that facility for failure of meeting those obligations on time. And I guess it was then obviously thought that instead of us accumulating this figure towards where it is, we had to close that facility and turn it into a loan which became more manageable for treasury, rather than having the different interests or different penalties that would attract on that facility. I submit.
Chair.
Yes, Honorable.
I also had a follow-up on my question.
Okay.
So maybe let me do mine. So because it's just what
Okay.
you just said.
In that order.
Chair, since this one was being managed by you, Minister of Energy, maybe you can also help us understand the genesis of this conversion from arrears into a loan. Was this your
submit?
Yes, I've seen what they've said, but I want to ask in relation to the documentation. Did you yourselves make the proposal that this will be unmanageable, and therefore suggested that it should be better, it better be converted into a term loan? Or this was the Minister of Finance looking at various government obligations and then identified this liability and said, let's convert it into a term loan? In other words, did you have a role to play in this?
Yes, Honorable Kangon. Let's just get both questions, then we conclude because we are running out of time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be very quick. So the way it's been raised, it was converted to a loan. Okay. Now, from the 590, from the time the conversion was done to where we are today, how are we doing in dismantling this particular credit, and has it accumulated to a new figure, and what has caused the accumulation? Thank you.
Maybe just as you make a conclusion on that one, I would want us to just take a precaution. You know, failure by civil service or by companies to perform particular duties put our country in a very awkward situation. So when you are given a particular position, I feel it's important to do due diligence so that you do not, you know, pass on the debt even to the generation which is not yet born. Zambia, we are being, you know, we are made to pay for inefficiency. For example, people just are relaxed and they don't do things on time. I don't know, PS, what you're going to put in place to try and, you know, arrest some of these debts. They pain to see that we as a country, we are owing, not because we borrowed, but because someone was just delayed in doing what they're supposed to do. PS, that would be your conclusion. I know it's also painful on your part. I submit.
Honorable Chair, it's like you are reading my, you know, date is a terrible thing to have. As a country, we are in this situation not partly because of the inefficiency on the part of the officers, but largely because the debt burden is too huge to the extent that it suffocates all efforts to make good of it. as our leaders, please, may you be, extra cautious when it comes to issues of date. Today, every coin that we make, either from the mines or from agriculture, is going towards clearing this date. As members of parliament, please assist us. Do a good job. As civil servants, yes, we would like to do what you are telling us to do, but sometimes the pot is dry. You go to the pot, you find there are only 2 coins or so. But suffice to mention to you, Honorable Chair, and the members of Parliament present here, we as civil service are going to do everything possible within our means to rectify the situation. I think we have already started doing that. I thank you.
Cap 12, which was... Oh, maybe okay. Are you able to state how much we are owing currently so that we can put it in our books and in our mind? Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Chair. Following the financing agreement which was signed, some amount, of course, had been paid down, but due to the fiscal constraint, again, government was not able to pay off all of it. And currently it stands around, the 590 stands around $493 million, which is yet to be paid off. And it's part of the external debt that the government still owes.
Thank you, Minister of Finance. Cap 12, which was conferred on you, is now removed so that you can move freely, PS, and pray for your country and work extra hard that tomorrow you can come and have a different story. Thank you so much for appearing before the committee. We want to wish you the best evening that you can have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. We appreciate the time. I think we'll do our best. Whenever you want us, we shall come and explain. Thank you.
Thank you, PS. God bless you all.